Hi everybody, I'm Dasha, the non-profitista, the CEO of D&C Volunteers. Let me hope everyone is doing fine. Dressed by my own Malibu. Thank you so much. Regards from D&C Volunteers. Actually, I would like to remind you about our campaign of Each One Reach One. It's still going on until December 2020. I want to thank those people who have been supportive to us, who have been there for us. Thank you so much. We feel blessed for your support, and we want to call upon those people who want to join us, who also want to support us to come forward. Today I'm going to talk about something which is very important, that is work. Tips on how to save your work in this situation. As you know, so many people have lost their jobs, and here with D&C Volunteers, we're not only giving or reaching out, but we also speak out or sensitize about some issue which is happening in our societies. Let me hope you're keeping safe. Let me hope you're sanitizing, you're social distancing, you're wearing your mask, and staying home if possible. How do you save your work in this situation? Tips on how to save your work. Before I tell you my tips, I want to pose a question. Which kind of a person are you at work? What makes you unique? What makes you stand out? What makes you extraordinary? From Dasha, what makes you different from Daniel, from Praise, from Happiness, from Viola, from Mary? What really makes you different from Doreen? Are you this kind of a person who is always forced to do something? Are you this kind of a person who always comes late at work? These tips will help you, and my advice, I think it's going to be so helpful to you, an employee, because in this situation so many people have lost their jobs. You have to keep going. You have to survive. You have to survive this situation by keeping your work, because you have to know the reason as to why you are working. First thing is, connect more with your managers, your supervisors, your bosses. You may find that you are this kind of a person who always don't want to connect with people. You don't want to relate with people. You are always alone. You don't speak at work. You're always having this attitude which is not going to take you anywhere. Because in this situation, when they are thinking about removing people from work, of course you will not survive. You have to be different. You have to be extraordinary. Which much effort are you putting in your work? Are you this kind of a person who just lays back and waits for your managers to spoon feed you? I think that is not right. You also have to finish your work, your tasks on time. That is very, very important. If you are given something, you have to finish it in time. You have to do something standing out. You have to give something more than what other people are giving. It's going to make you to be unique. Your tasks have to be completed in time. Always saying yourself to do something. Don't wait for your manager or for your boss to tell you, hey Dasha, can you do this? Can you do this? No, don't be that kind of a person. Be a self-driven person. In this time of situation, you have to survive. You have to be flexible. You have to learn each and everything. If you are a hairdresser, if you are a stylist, if you are makeup, you are working in a salon, you are an employee, you have to learn what other people are also doing. Don't be there like you're waiting to just do one thing. No, you have to be flexible. Another tip is, most of us, we have attitudes. Some of us are short-tempered, some of us are very sensitive. But an employee, as a service provider to your boss or to your clients or your customers, you have to work on your attitude. It doesn't matter where you come from, whether you have money or you don't have money. Where you come from is not the reason as to why you are at work. You have to work on your attitude. That is the most important thing. Because like for me, I'm a service provider, a professional service provider, experience of 3 years. You face, in a day I can serve like 100 people or 90 people. I can talk to different people from different calibers. You may find that this customer is easy, the other customer is a little bit sensitive, the other customer is a little bit. How do you handle that customer? How are you going to handle your boss who is with who is always with an attitude, how are you going to talk to your boss? You have to be selective of the words you use to your clients, and you have to respect your clients, and you have to respect your customers. Because if it wasn't for your customers, you as an employee, you cannot be paid. Each day which goes by, keep on improving. You have to grow. You have to come from here to here, not from here to here. You have to keep going. You have to keep rolling. You have to grow. In this situation, you have to grow. You have to give your best. You have to be creative. You have to be active. You have to introduce something. Hey, this my manager, I want to talk to you. How are our sales? How are we doing? Where do we need to improve? Be that kind of an employee. Don't be this kind of an employee who just sits back and waits for your manager or for your boss to tell you what to do. Another thing, just do the right thing, because before working in your company, there is always contracts which you have to sign. There are rules and regulations. Always do the right thing. Don't do what Dasha is doing. Don't do what Daniel is doing. Just do what your company needs you to do. Don't follow other people, because if you are following other people, what they are doing, they may misbehave. They may violate the rules and the regulations of the company. Just do the right thing. Another thing, just be nice. If you are giving your services, you are a service provider, you're working in salon, you have your own shop, just be nice, because you are going to face so many different people with different attitudes. As a client, you may face a client who is very tough with a very bad attitude, but you as a service provider, what's going to make you different from your client? What is going to make your client to come back again? No one is perfect. We work with different types of people, and you have to know that this person is always sensitive. My customer is always sensitive. Don't work with the customer that she will not come back again. Yeah, because you're not going to serve 100% a customer who is perfect. Another thing is, just in our day-to-day work, we always face situations, and you have to be this kind of a person. When you are not at work, are you missed or you are not missed? What are those people going to miss about you? Employees, you have to obey your bosses, your employers. And a client is always a client, and a client is going to always be right. Whether she's bad, whether she has a bad attitude, whether she's short-tempered, whether she's what, a client is going to always be a client. Just respect that. Give your best shot. Give your best shot whenever you are at work. Don't let your employer to always send you, hey Shasha, do this, hey Tina, hey Mariam, hi Irene, do this, I want you to do this. Don't let your employer to always send you for what to do. Be a self-driven person to save your work in this situation. You may encounter problems with your clients or with your customers. As an employee, what are you going to do to bring those customers back? How are you going to solve your problem, your misunderstandings with your customer? The first thing you have to do is saying sorry is another tip of saving your job in this situation. Actually, as a volunteer, I'm speaking to you because I've witnessed so many people losing their jobs. Saying sorry, it's a short word, but it really means a lot. If your customer or your client or your boss is annoyed at you, you have to say sorry to your boss. Saying sorry does not take anything from you. You are just saving your job. Don't be this big-headed person. You have to save your job. Let the client be, whether she's what. Just say, if you see your client is not satisfied with your services, just say, hey ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm a service provider and I've experienced this. I may serve a customer then the customer is not satisfied with my services, it will really haunt me for the rest of the day. But if I'm to face with the customer and with my client, I will give my customer time. Then later on, I will go where my customer is seated and I say, hey sir, hey ma'am, I'm really very sorry the way I talked with you, that was not the right way, please forgive me and please come back again. You just have to be polite. Saying sorry, it's really necessary as an employee. Another last tip is saying thank you. Saying thank you is so important to our clients, to our customers. As we employees, we have to say thank you to our bosses, to our managers, to our supervisors. We have to be thankful, even with the people we are working with, even our colleagues we are working with. We have to say thank you. If you thank your customer, of course they will come back again. But don't just be this kind of a person with attitude. Someone is telling you, I need salt, you just give salt and you don't even smile, even you don't say anything. Just make it easy for yourself and for your job and for your life. With this video, I know you're going to learn something. If you've not been flexible, if you've not been creative, if you've not been doing the right thing, if you've not been connecting more with your customers or your clients or your bosses, you need to do that. You need to be different. You have to survive in this situation and always say thank you. You have to survive. You have to keep your job in this situation so that you survive. I hope you've learned something. Stand out. You have to survive. You have to stick around. You have to stick around and you have to do something which is going to make you stand out, which is going to make your employer to always want to work with you over and over and over again. You have to be different. You have to be different from other people. Thank you so much. If there is something else you would like me to talk about, this video was about how to save your job as we employees in this situation. My next video will go to the bosses, the so-called bosses and the employers. Ciao.